about to enter the invention dimension, a place where you discover and uncover and activate the skills within you that you need to be an inventor. Sit back and relax and get ready to enter the invention dimension. Welcome to Invention League's Invention Dimension. I'm Professor Prototype, and today we're talking about problems. We know problems are everywhere. Big problems like cleaning up the ocean, and smaller problems like how to spread peanut butter on a piece of bread without tearing the bread apart. Once we see the invention that has been created to solve a problem, it's easier to identify the problem. Sometimes we say, gee, I wish I would have thought of that. But have you ever thought about how people identify a problem and how they go about solving it? Problem seeking is the first step in finding an interesting problem to solve. The more specific one can be about their problem, the more focused the solution will be. For example, in general, someone might say the problem is their back hurts. Inventors need to know more. They ask questions like, when does your back hurt? How often? What are you doing when your back hurts? Where does it hurt? The more questions you ask about a problem, the closer you'll be to solving it in a new and innovative way. Throughout history, inventors have been motivated to create because they want to help others and improve their lives. And they need to solve a problem often, either by building a prototype or starting a business. Their eyes and minds are open. Whether it's their own problem or recognizing one in everyday people, like a bus driver, banker, or police officer, inventors want to help. Inventors might even be inspired by nature, like Swiss engineer George de Mestral. He took his dog for a walk and discovered prickly burrs stuck all over his dog. He decided to take a closer look to see how it was sticking so well on his dog. Aha! The burrs have small hooks at the end of each needle. This inspired him to create what we use today to fasten all kinds of items together. Velcro! Today you're going to be introduced to a lot of different people with a lot of different problems that need to be fixed. You'll see firsthand how to generate and identify problems to solve. You get the idea. Let's go out and see what problems we can uncover today and how others find them.
My problem is that when I wash my socks, I can't get them white enough.
My problem is that I get headaches when I use ponytails.
My problem is my phone falling through the seats when I'm trying to drive.
My fresh produce goes bad in my refrigerator.
An everyday problem that I see is burning my toast every day.
There are many students that do not have internet connectivity at home.
My problem is I slouch when I hurt my back.
Problemas hay en todas partes. Está en tus manos solucionarlo.
We've just heard lots of different problems from lots of different people, and that's exactly what inventors do. They solve problems with inventions. Let's go meet some inventors and learn about how they solve problems and how they go about doing it. Come on, let's go.
I went to a lot of events, and there's a lot of times where you have an audience that's trying to interact with the presenter, and you usually have to have somebody that runs around with a handheld microphone, or you have that one up in the spotlight that you got to be brave enough to use. So this is just a more engaging, interactive way to do it.
My grandpa was over a long time ago. He was in a wheelchair, and so it was really hard to get him up the front steps. So we came up with the idea of something that would convert into a ramp.
I was 6 years old when I invented Bear in the Chair. And my problem was Elf on the Shelf is good for 2 or 3 weeks during Christmas time, but I wanted people to know that I'm good all year round.
We're seeking solutions for problems to solve. We start with what we know. So go into the marketplace and look for products that might need improving. Is there a game console that you use that you think I could make that better? Or maybe it's a product that mom and dad used that I could find a better solution for. As designers, we're often cursed with this ability to walk into our local big box store to buy whatever, and you're looking at the products on the shelf and immediately you're thinking, I could design that better. I wouldn't have made that choice about a handle. I would have chosen a different color. I would have put the on-off button in a different location. These are those skills that you're slowly refining, trying to get to the point where you can begin to make those decisions in the right manner.
When I am presented with a problem, what I'll actually do is I'll think about it, we'll think about it and think about it.
there are always, there's always room for improvement. There are always makes things to make it more efficient, make it optimize it, and you just try and think on how, if it were you, how would you approach it, and you just try and scale it up. You perfect it, doing little samples, and you just scale up.
My problem-seeking process has developed, and I actually talked about this when I presented at the Student Merit Awards, that it was one of the first moments in which I'd really started to see the world as a designer. I walked into the pet store, and I was looking at the time for a junior project, because we all had to come up with our own housewares project of some sort. And so I walked in the pet store, I saw the hamster cages, and I swear they were just begging to be redesigned because they were terrible. They needed to be changed. There were so many issues with it. And so that ended up being my junior project for my one class, was redesigning a hamster home. And it was nothing that I had ever imagined possibly solving, but now as I walk around day to day, I just see things where I'm like, oh, that's really great, designer. Oh, wow, this could be so much improved in this way, or this way, or this way. But the other interesting thing about the problem-seeking process is that there's so many different ways to go about it too, because you could look at designing for a specific niche market and solving a problem that will only really help a specific segment of people, or you could try to go something where this is just better design for everyone. And there's pros and cons to both processes, but it's really fun once you start noticing things.
At the Ohio Soybean Council, we seek to identify problems that soybeans, a common plant that we grow across Ohio and the nation, can be used as a solution for those problems. We see problems of world hunger or sustainability and climate change. So if we zero in on the problem of climate change and sustainability, we see that soybeans can actually be used as a drop-in alternative to non-renewable resources like petroleum and oil.
Biomimicry is the process of looking at nature, learning from it, emulating nature to solve human problems, to create new inventions, new products, new solutions, actually improving whole cities. It's really exciting and an awesome tool for young inventors because often they overlook nature.
There are lots of fun ways for you to brainstorm problems to solve. You can make it a game. All you need is a Hoberman sphere, or maybe a Nerf ball, or even a brain ball. That would be fun. And the way you play is to toss the ball around the room. The first person to catch it says the very first problem that comes to mind. There is no problem too big or too small or too silly. This is a brainstorming activity. So you say the first thing you think about, and then you toss the ball to someone else. It's fun and easy to play. It's time for you to put on your thinking cap and think about what problem you'll solve with invention. Remember, inventors and innovators look closely and ask lots of questions, and always pay attention to the world around them. They challenge the way things exist, and they look outside of the box for solutions. They think about how to make something work better or invent something new. Problems are everywhere. Start problem seeking today to activate your problem-solving skills.